Yeah, look. Look at that. We are.
Now, in theory, right?
Yeah.
If I go on to YouTube
Yeah.
and go onto your page,
You can watch us live.
I can watch us live and monitor the comments without you having to use your phone.
Well, let's see how we go.
That's me plan.
I like your plan. Right.
Geoff Buys Cars is live, upcoming.
Did it just say that?
No, it comes up on your page.
Right. Right. Hey, look, one person's watching.
Already?
Yeah, already, yeah.
Well, it's not me.
No, it might be. I know it's not you. Hey, look, who is it? Wemmer 58 Olds. Dr. Jellyfingers. Good evening, chaps. Good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. That'll be Kevin. Kevin's always on from Florida.
For tonight's entertainment, right?
Commenting for some time, you say.
Geoff Buys Cars is live.
Dr. Jellyfingers.
Wait.
Good evening, chaps. Good afternoon from Lakeland. Hey, we look better there than we do there. That's because my brightness is down really
Yeah.
low. Hang on, let me
You
see.
turn your brightness up because you got it plugged into that
Yeah, I can do that
power
now.
station.
Yeah. Can I do that?
Jesus.
What? Flying, look. 83 people watching. See how fast the comments are coming in? It's quite hard to keep on top of it, isn't it? So,
Well, yeah, look. There we go.
Crikey.
We've got the comments here. We've got that there.
hang on. Someone sold their Jaguar E-Pace. It was no good. Did you see
Worst thing I've ever driven.
an E-Pace?
That's awful.
Hang on, which one's the E-Pace? Not the I-Pace. Does he mean I-Pace?
Or does he mean E-Pace? Was it a milk float? Mr. Who sold the Jaguar? Was it a milk float or was it the petrol version or the diesel version? Because there's a whole different story there.
Yeah. Did you see as well, there was a classic car auction at the weekend and they had Prince Charles's Jaguar I-Pace in the auction and it sold for 74, couple of EV things on auction. Tony and I don't really have an agenda today because we should be more organised, but
We do have leather armchairs, though.
we do have leather armchairs.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We're pretty set up. We're in the pub. Geoff, you need to interview that bird in Ireland at Ashford Motors.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
I watched that the other day. It's a bird in Ireland who
Yeah.
runs a car dealership who is no longer taking in EVs in part exchange because they're losing too much money. She
Yeah.
can't risk it on her business. And if the batteries go, her warranty won't cover it, etc., etc. So she's refusing all EVs.
Well, that's absolutely fair enough because it's her business and she's
Well,
got...
yeah, but that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah. Well, I said this in a video already, I think. I said I saw in a, the electric Mini. Have you driven that one, the electric Mini?
No.
You've not driven the electric Mini?
No, I haven't.
I'm surprised, actually. But I saw in an electric Mini Facebook group someone saying, hello, has anybody else had any problems part exchanging their electric Mini? Because I took mine to the dealership and they just basically said, no, we don't even want it. Hi, Geoff, let me introduce myself. Oh, see, these coming fast.
Yeah, I was just reading that one. I gate Range Rovers.
I think
Period.
he means hate.
Oh,
I hate
right.
Range Rovers.
Yeah. The E-Pace is a car with a Jag badge on.
So,
No, the one above that. Hang on.
go on.
Geoff, I contacted you, re Humpole Cosworth. I've seen the word Cosworth, all right, and I got interested at that point.
Humpole, right, that's police, and would like you to try out me I'd like you to try out me in touch with the current owner for a reunion. M982 GAT.
M98. Well,
Right,
that's
what he's talking about here is I did a video on ex-police escort Cosworths, right?
Yeah.
M982 GAT
Yeah.
was the fast response. I found, and this was last year, I found about 13 ex-police escort Cosworths. So when the escort Cosworth came out, some police forces ordered them in very small numbers.
Did they keep the whale tail on the back?
Yeah, some of them, yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty legendary. But the problem was, a lot of them were up north, so like Humberside, I think that's what he's saying. So Humberside police bought them, but and it was to target joyriders. But the problem was, it had the opposite effect. Because then the joyriders would be like, right, we've got nothing to do tonight, let's go out and bait the Cossie. Because then it became a badge of honour if you outran the police Cosworth.
Yeah.
So I did a whole load of research to try and work out where all these ex-police escort Cosworths were, and I made a video about it. And then on the back of all those comments, a lot more information came out as well. And it was quite a geeky video, but it was really interesting. It's like learning.
It's got my attention.
Well, apparently there was one, and I've not been able to prove this yet, and I don't know if it was an Escort Cosworth or a Sierra Cosworth, but apparently Swansea Police Force had one delivered, and on day one, the chap who was the dog handler said, "Here, let me have a go," and he wrote it off before it was even put on the force.
It's Swansea. I would say that's entirely possible.
There was also there was some that were nicked before they even made it. There was one that was allegedly stolen as it was coming off the lorry, as in being delivered to the police. And it never made it to the yard. And there were loads of cool stories that came out about that because they're absolutely iconic cars.
Ooh, CG, greetings from Weybridge. Who's that in?
Someone down here, innit?
That's my manor.
What was that one that just came in? Geoff, Tesla owner in our village. Tesla owner blocks narrow road outside his house so he can charge his battery. Take some pictures because Tony and I are quite happy to expose stuff like that that's going on.
Absolutely.
Selfish electrical vehicle drivers doing selfish things.
Well, I have suffered Tesla rage. So
Tesla rage.
Yeah. Well, I was driving a Tesla.
Yeah. What happened?
Hopwood Services M42.
Yeah.
One of my favourite services, by the way. I do like that. It scores points for the facilities. But at the same time, it loses points because you've got to drive down and round and roundabout to get into it.
Yeah.
And the toilets, you have to go up an escalator.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Hang on.
Annoys me, yeah.
Hang on. Tony's going to do some more videos where he reviews service stations, right? I also like Hopwood Services. But why do we like Hopwood Services? What is it about it? I think it's because it's quite light and airy on the inside.
Yes, it is in the layout, and it's all there in front. When you walk in, everything is in front of you, and you can see everything.
Yeah.
It's not like Exeter, where everything's hidden around a corner.
Yeah, where it is. Exeter's terrible for that, because you've got a long corridor to walk down before you find anything.
No,
and unless you go left,
yeah,
you told me that.
Yeah,
unless you
go left. When you go to Exeter Services, go left. Go through Preta Manager.
Yeah.
There's a secret doorway, like Mr. Ben. Go through that, you're straight in the toilets. You don't have to walk around the maze.
Because otherwise, you've got to go all the way through the food court because they want you to spend the money.
Yeah. But it's down your leg by that point.
So what we've decided is that Hopwood, I'd rank, based on most service stations around the country that I've been to, I'd rank Hopwood fairly highly. Now, that's not saying it's a good place, but that is saying just how bad many
See, I went to the one above that today.
Yeah.
I was there this afternoon. That's where I went to Waitrose.
Oh,
South
right, okay.
Mims.
South, you've raved about this
Oh, yeah, it's got Pizza Express.
Nice.
That's got spoons.
No.
Whereas Beaconsfield, that's got spoons.
I was there the other day, actually, editing some video.
What the hell do you want spoons for? That's just torture.
Yeah, I didn't understand
Oh, look, there's a pint there for £3. I can't drink it because I'm... Oh, no, I don't need that.
because I'm on the motorway.
Oh, that's a big message. What's that say?
I've noticed all EV drivers drive slow, like 50 to 60 mile an hour, so to save electricity. I drive every work day on the motorways and past them. So why they brag about how powerful the cars are?
Dolph, word for word, I thought that driving up the M40 today. I overtook a Tesla. I was in a Transit Custom, one of my favourite vans, 2020 plate. Oh, beautiful thing. Gearbox was a bit flappy, but we'll forget that. And I overtook a Tesla. I was only doing 70 miles an hour, officer, honestly.
Yeah.
And the Tesla was doing 55. And I thought, there you are, mate.
Yeah.
You're sat in a 200 mile an hour rocket ship and you're going 55 mile an hour. And it's a simple answer, Dolph. Range. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The minute you go over 55 mile an hour in any milk float, the range drops like shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
The other problem that my brother was talking about the other day, he commutes in a van, and he was saying the problem that you have with electric cars is they're so fast that on busy roundabouts, the electric cars are deleting the normal gaps that you need for a roundabout to function normally. i.e. if you're in a van waiting to pull onto a roundabout, it takes you a certain amount of time to get going. Now, normally you pull out and you know you're okay because the car coming isn't going to hit you. But with more and more electric cars taking gaps that weren't previously there, they're slowing down the way the roundabout works because the Tesla, 0 to 63 seconds, they can take any gap they want, which makes it harder and harder for normal vehicles to actually do a roundabout.
Now, there's an issue with that.
Go on.
When they pull out, particularly in a Tesla, it's one of the worst ones. When you put your foot down, you pull out. Very often, you think, oh, I've made a mistake there. And you take your foot off the throttle. Yeah. But if you do that in a petrol or diesel car, you'll still roll forward and you'll roll out the way and the car will go behind you.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen in a Tesla. You're just going to stop dead.
Yeah. Yeah. It took me a minute to get you... when I test drove that one, but by the end of 2 days, I was quite used to it and I was finding it all right. But I tell you what, because that Tesla was quick, I didn't half drive it fast everywhere. just because you can, and it's
And
silent,
if you're not worried about going anywhere, then you can't. You just drive it like a lunatic, like I did with that Porsche Taycan.
Yeah.
With the Teslas, whenever I deliver them, and the owners say, so what do I need to know? 1, don't put your foot down.
Yeah.
2, don't take your foot off. Those are the 2 things you need to know about a Tesla. Because if you put your foot down, you're in the wall.
Yeah.
And if you take your foot off, you're just going to stop.
If I can defend the Tesla for a minute in front of 373 people, right? I found that the touchscreen and the software on the Tesla was actually quite easy and straightforward.
Didn't like sat-nav though.
Sat-nav's naff.
Yeah, sat-nav is awful.
The
actual touchscreen and the way the car's laid out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's far superior to anything else because it was built to be a milk float.
100%.
Everything else is a car.
Yeah, that they've adapted.
To milk floatery, whereas the Tesla was built as a milk float, and it is superior in every way, apart from catching fire, sinking, breaking down, sat nav, the fact that you need an instruction manual to open the door.
Yeah, it seems to be build quality issues with Tesla as well, but it always shocks me when you see that video where Whistling Diesel bought one. Do you watch Whistling Diesel? He's very good.
Sounds like a country and western singer.
Yeah, well, he's an American YouTuber that is, he's known for doing diesel stuff. And he bought a Tesla to jack it up and put it on great big carriage wheels and drive it upside down because it was funny. But he does these durability tests where he'll take like a Toyota Hilux and slam the door 400 times and see what happens. And he does it with a G-Wagon, and he's done it with a few others. He did one big slam on the Tesla and the whole door card fell apart. Couldn't open the door in one slam.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because it's electric, as soon as it falls out of alignment, you're screwed.
Another one I saw, whilst we're on this Tesla bashing for a minute, the comments seem to have stopped there. Is that just because everybody's listening to us, or is that my phone? There was a post I saw in a Tesla owners group, or that was sent to me, of someone saying, has anybody else had problems getting a windscreen fitted with a lowered Tesla, right? So he lowered his Tesla, because I guess max power and because it's cool. And as a result of lowering his Tesla, he couldn't get a windscreen fitted by anyone because they couldn't calibrate cameras. So the quotes he was getting to have a windscreen done were thousands of pounds because he'd lowered his suspension.
Oh, so nothing lines up.
Because nothing lines up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is interesting. So you can't modify your Tesla.
No. No, you couldn't do anything to a Tesla because everything's calibrated.
Yeah.
So that you can't move anything up, down, left, right. No, you couldn't do a thing to it.
So
there's no way you can tune up a Tesla, is there? I mean, you shouldn't need to.
No. But
I never got that ludicrous mode one.
Have you tried I talked about this in my review. I drove the Plaid, the Model S Plaid, the left-hand drive only one. And genuinely, I'm sorry if you saw this on my review, but we sat here like this in the car, and I was all excited, being like, right, I'm going to floor it. And the salesman says to me, before you floor it, just take a minute to get yourself ready. Like, give yourself a pep talk, prepare yourself. And I sat there and I went, there is no way I need a pep talk before I floor it in a car. I've floored it in cars before. I know what happens. I thought, this is rubbish. It can't possibly be that fast. And then I put my foot down and I genuinely nearly fell off my chair. It was that fast. But that just left me thinking, who needs that?
What was it? What was it that scared you?
I wasn't scared.
No, but what was it that made you fall off your chair?
It was just the physics of it.
It's the silence.
And the silence.
For me, it's the silence. Because I know it's going to accelerate. So I'm ready for it. And I'm never that impressed anymore.
No.
But at the same time, the silence is unnerving.
Yeah. But it's that makes you feel sick, though, because you've got all of this power, but without anything going on audibly. So it's a little bit unnerving. And yeah, like I said, when I've driven fast electric cars, they just end up making you feel sick after a bit. Go on, what you got in the comments?
Sarge, those BYD are made out of monkey metal. I haven't got my hands on a BYD yet. It's on my list of things to do, if only because I want to slag it off. I can't see... I mean, I know that, look, they're the best-selling thing in the world because they've got the biggest population in the world.
Yeah.
That's like saying rice is the most popular food in the world.
Yeah.
So I ain't going for it.
Yeah.
But I'm somebody, while you were in Egypt...
Yeah.
Sent me a BYD dealership in Portugal that had already burnt down. Yeah, and I've been that busy. I haven't been into the comments. And he sent me all the photos, the videos, and everything. If you're watching, mate, I'm really sorry. I haven't done anything with it, and you only got hold of me because he disappeared for 2 weeks. But nevertheless, right? Yeah, apparently, Faro in Portugal, I think. And there was a basement dealership, and it burnt the whole tab off.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Shocking, isn't it?
But they don't catch fire, so it's fine.
So look, I would say about those BYDs, right? They're not bad looking things. However, if the design, let's say you're the designer for BYD, right? The chairman of the company is going to come to you and he say, right, go on the internet, find the best looking cars in the West and copy them. So it should be a great. They should be.
But if everybody did that,
Yeah.
I seen a Mark 1 Capri today.
Did you?
In brown.
A brown Mark 1 Capri.
Oh yeah, I was in Teignmouth, and I meant to stop and video it, and I didn't, and I thought it was immaculate too. Anyway,
That's dreamy. What was that there? Hang on, Mr. Everyone Carnage, and the. Are you the Wall fan? Hammers on the back of your phone.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
West Ham fan, you see. BYD are the worst for setting on fire. The problem is, right, they're all made in China and they all use technology that is made in the same place. So they've all got to be as bad as each other. However...
Well, no, because it doesn't matter what car it is, the innards all come from China.
Yeah.
So you can stick whatever thing you want on the top of it.
Yeah.
But do you know what I discovered today? I was driving along because Tesla are no longer going to make the Model S and the Model X.
In right-hand drive.
Right-hand drive.
Yeah.
So, he is basically, now Elon Musk is Henry Ford. You can have any Tesla you want, as long as it's a four-door saloon.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, the world is populated by SUVs.
Well, Jaguar today have announced, it's quite in the news today that Jaguar, they're getting rid of the tooling for their, people will correct me in the comments here, I think it's the little Jag, the saloon and estate, they're going SUV only now. Everyone's going SUV. It's sad, isn't it?
But the I-Pace is one of the worst. I mean, I love a Jag. But I mean, to be fair, old Jags, saloons, the old XJS and that lot, they handled like a bag of shit anyway. So, in theory, the I-Pace has just carried on that legacy.
Yeah.
But just add 2 ton to the weight of it.
Yeah.
It's like driving a super tanker.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I
was so disappointed.
in the I-Pace.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I went round a slip road and I did. I like, if I go around a slip road, I like to see whether the car will go round the corner.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a chance with this.
Yeah.
It was just going straight on.
Yeah. But I found that with the Tesla, I mean, it was all very good putting your foot down in a straight line. But when it came into the corners, I wasn't that interested in driving it hard because I didn't really felt like I could trust it because of where the weight's spread out.
You can.
Can you?
Yeah, you can.
Right, okay.
You can. I have not road tested any of them under any conditions whatsoever.
Yeah.
To the point where they don't go sideways though.
Do they not?
No, because it's all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
All I haven't managed to get. Has anyone managed to get a Tesla sideways? Please say if you have.
Well, do they understeer then?
No, they don't. They don't do anything.
They just don't do anything.
They don't do anything. They just go.
Yeah.
And you get very little feeling.
Yeah.
Like for example, the BMW 330e. When I rag the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Back end flips out.
Yeah.
And then the hybrid kicks in, and yeah.
Yeah.
Proper toy.
Yeah. So that's worth driving.
Yeah, not for the woman I delivered it to.
No.
Because she came out and went, I can smell burning rubber. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a hell of a car, mind.
Must have been someone else, love.
Oh, no, it was somewhere up Rutland Water type way.
Oh, yeah.
And there was this beautiful bendy road. It was following a lake. And I thought I was in an episode of Top Gear. I was right in Clarkson mode.
Pretty up there, isn't it?
Yeah, and this thing's going and the back end's coming out.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, then when I arrived, I thought,
Brilliant.
Too late, done now.
Yeah, so you're right. So Capri then, brown Capri. Mark 1.
Yeah.
Slightly before my time, Capris. I don't have that connection to it.
No, but this had the original chrome. Before they used to put plastic bumpers and everything.
Yeah.
You had a bit of bent chrome, which was held on with 2 bolts. and this had all the chrome and it was all immaculate. I think it must have been refurbed.
Yeah.
But it was just sat outside in someone's driveway in a random estate in the middle of nowhere. And I just thought, what a thing of beauty that is. And then I picked up a Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
A little Ford Fiesta Titanium.
Yeah. What 11?
2013.
Yeah.
And 40-odd thousand miles on the clock.
Yeah.
And it was immaculate. Now, the only thing wrong with it was it had that shit 3-cylinder engine in it that goes like a sewing machine.
Yeah.
But I started thinking, and again, embracing my inner Clarkson, I'm driving along in this thinking, right, I've just driven past that Capri. What a thing of beauty that was.
Yeah.
I'm in a Fiesta, which the Fiesta ST is still one of the greatest cars ever made.
Yeah.
It's right up there. And Ford have stopped making both of them.
I find that...
But they make that Mach-E thing, and they put that badge on it, which we ain't going to mention the name. They put that badge on it, and they besmirch that horse by doing that. And this is their future. I was like, you're the company that made the Capri.
This is where I get into the fact that all of this is being done deliberately just to spite and to put off true petrol heads, because that's not the only brand that has relaunched an iconic car and made it not good. Oh,
you got me thinking about that now. And the first thing that springs to mind, Toyota.
Yeah.
Toyota, you look at the, I don't know, Supra, the MR2.
Yeah.
You know, all of those Celica, all of those coupes they made and little two-seaters and all the rest of it. And now they make the Prius and the Aurea.
Yeah.
And the, oh, Jesus.
But
you used to,
you can still get
the Toyota GT.
The new Supra though, right, is one of the only new cars where it'll go past me on the motorway and I'm going, yes, that is nice. It's so rare now that something modern comes past me and I actually ogle. So today, right, I'm driving along.
In order to justify selling that Supra, they've got to sell 500 Priuses.
Yeah.
So it's like yin and yang, isn't it? So what do you rather have? That one Supra on the road and you got to have 500 Priuses or just nothing?
Yeah.
It's a difficult shout.
So today, right, I'm driving along in my £1,000.
Is that your heart monitor going off?
No, my heart's fine, mate. I haven't had any. Driving along in my £1,000 X5.
Oh, we nearly went down a right rabbit hole, then, didn't we?
No,
Save that.
I'm annoyed about all this.
Me neither.
I'll talk to you about this in a minute, but I've had something a little bit close to home with a certain reaction that has. Well, I'll tell you about this off camera because I don't know how much I'm going to say on YouTube. But...
Grace,
go on.
I'd love to get my hands on the hydrogen engine. I think that'll end up superseding the milk float.
Hydrogen.
Yeah. But then you've got synthetic fuels as well. So, and I think all of these things are going to come out.
Yeah.
And then it'll be survival of the fittest.
Yeah. My only concern is that those things are going to be just reserved for like the few people that are allowed to still own cars. But again, you're going down a bit of a rabbit hole with New World Order and various stuff that's planned.
Yeah, we're in Schwab territory again.
Oh, no, wait. Uncle Tony's Garage is watching us. Uncle Tony from the USA is watching us.
I've got some T-shirts for you.
I can't believe that.
Do a swap, Town.
Yeah.
Do a swap.
We'll send
your merch.
We'll send you some merch. Uncle Tony's like a legend of YouTube in the USA.
Oh, mega.
Someone once emailed me and said that, Uncle Tony had mentioned me in one of his videos.
And I have nephews and nieces, so, technically, I too am an Uncle Tony.
There you go then. So, someone messaged me and said, Uncle Tony's Garage has mentioned you on YouTube. And I think you said something about the fact that you were like watching me whilst having your breakfast. And I was like, I watch you while I'm having my breakfast.
I'm your biggest fan, he just said.
He's got to
be talking to you, not me.
Much better mechanic than I am. But I just love the way, again, this is like another normal guy that was making car videos and doing stuff in a garage who's been forced to start talking about the stuff that's going on in the world because it's come knocking at their door. That's where Uncle Tony ended up going on to all this stuff. Same as me. I'm just a car guy wanting to defend being a car guy. Like I never set up a YouTube channel to be like, what am I going to do? How can I make my YouTube channel big? Oh, I know. I've got to start ranting about this stuff. Like it's all quite a natural progression. Yeah, interesting. I can't believe it. That's great.
Cider guy, yeah, you're right. we won't go into that. But then again, we seem to have stumbled on something because now go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. The rabbit hole's a scary place to be.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But if you're down the rabbit hole, which we are, and some of you are, can you see why we don't want to go down the rabbit hole on YouTube? Because it's a scary place to be when you get there. But then, and some people aren't ready. So it's difficult. It's a
the thing is as well, right? The thing is, if you're a little bit awake and you know the conspiracy theories, you know, like Pokemon, you've been collecting all the conspiracy theories, you know them all. And then
catch them all.
Exactly, you got to catch them all. You've seen Corona, you know what's going on with Corona, and you're aware of it all. And then an article comes out that says,
I'd never put lime in the top of mine.
And then an article comes out that says the EU want to stop us repairing old cars, or the EU want to stop us using chrome, right? Normal people who aren't awake or aware of what's going on will go, oh, that's interesting. Whereas we go, hang on a minute, that leads to that, which leads to that, which leads to X.
Join the dots.
Join the dots. And that's why we start talking about this stuff on the channel, because we can see that it's not just an article about not being able to chrome your bumpers on your 1959, whatever it is.
Oh, right. When I read that the EU were banning Chrome, I thought it was Google Chrome. I thought they're banning a search engine. This is very Chinese.
It's about time. Google Chrome's rubbish. No, but what it means, and there's another YouTuber called Stuart Fillingham who's done it. He's beaten me to it. Sometimes I beat Stuart to it with subjects, and sometimes Stuart beats me because I'm still in my post-holiday blues mode and I haven't got back into making videos. I haven't done it yet. But what it means is it's not just saying you won't be able to chrome the bumpers on your MG. What it is saying is ball bearings, for example. So if you can't put the outer covering on ball bearings, well, that's all sorts of machining. And it is huge. Like the ramifications of not being able to have chrome stuff is massive. It's so much more than just, oh no, I'll have to paint my bumpers instead. It's everything.
Do you want to go back 100 years and I'll throw in a nice conspiracy theory for you?
Go on.
Who made all the ball bearings for Nazi Germany?
Who made all that? It's like one of them jokes, isn't it?
No, it's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
No,
who made the ball bearings for Nazi Germany? Is it the same person that provided the engines for their trucks?
I don't know.
Because if you go back far enough, there was a certain Henry Ford.
There you go. It's the same man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This always makes me laugh when I see this is the video that's going to get shut down. Like when you see people wearing Hugo Boss, right? And you think, hang on a minute, let's track backwards a little bit and work out where all that came from.
Right. Now, if I could remember the name, and this is going down the Corona thing, the company that made either one of the first jabby things, or one of the first testy things, God, I can't remember their name. Anyway, I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
They, if you go back far enough, they've had 8 changes of name.
Yeah.
And when you get back to 1939, that same company that's changed name 8 times was called IG Farben.
Yeah, IG Farben, who were involved with, well, you'll know the name.
Well, no, they did.
Yeah.
You know, they ran the factory at Auschwitz C.
Yeah.
And that was the same company. And you can trace it. And if you don't believe me, please go down that rabbit hole. It's a fascinating rabbit hole. While you're at it, look at Standard Oil's involvement in the railway. This is my specialist subject.
I didn't know he was as conspiratorial as conspiratorial theorium as I am, and I'm pretty down there.
Oh no, you go back to the Nazis, you uncover a lot.
Yeah, you can.
I'm a big Nazi historian.
Are you?
Yeah, I own an Iron Cross.
Do you?
Yeah, my dad gave it to me.
Where did he get it from?
A Nazi. He was in Berlin in 1945.
Unpopular. I'm not going to go into it because it's difficult with YouTube knowing what you can and can't say.
Yeah.
But what not many people realise is that after the end of the war, when the Allies went in and saved everyone, and that's when things got really, really bad for German people, because the camps just became even worse, and the supplies became even worse, and the starvation became even worse. So there's this it's all in John Hamer's book, Falsification of History, which is very, very good, about what actually happened.
We've gone a bit dark here, haven't we?
It's gone a bit dark, and we should change the subject.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Anyway,
I can't help it.
Someone give us a question and we'll change the subject. Hi, Geoff. I drive a Toyota Yaris D4D diesel. It's done 147,000 miles. Runs like new. Full service history. I will never let it go. The comment's fading away. But I'll never let it go for any of the crap you can buy today. I work for a main car dealer. Christopher, what is the miles per gallon that you get out of that car? Because I'm willing to bet that it's something really, really good. And that is a car for life. You don't get cars for life anymore, do you? Peak car was in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Early 2000s.
Yes, Sir Guy Fawkes, you're right, yeah.
They started making cars that
No
were like,
nerd in motion, we're not talking about the French. Amazing. Right, anyway.
Comments coming in thick and fast. Anyway, what we're saying was, we reached a point with like the Citroen C1, and I think it was the Peugeot 107 it was called, where you've got small cars that are doing 60 to 70 miles per gallon that are cheap to run. And then after that, no touch screens, no nothing, just simple, basic cars that work. And then now you track forward. And today, this week in the news, we're now starting to see that people are starting to talk about how dangerous these huge touchscreens are. So we're going to end up going backwards because now they're saying, touchscreens are unsafe. We need to go back to having buttons and knobs and all this sort of stuff. And we've been saying that all along. These touchscreens are 100% dangerous, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, have you had the Tesla in karaoke mode?
No, we didn't have karaoke mode.
Yeah.
That would be highly distracting.
No, you have to, right, you put it in karaoke mode and it says, are you the driver or are you the passenger?
Well, obviously you click that you're the passenger.
Yeah, and then you get to sing karaoke. I was in weirdly enough, when we had all the roadworks on the M5?
Yeah.
Junction 8 and 9?
Yeah.
I was there. And that's where I was. Where we are today, we're in Worcester, by the way. I was there when I was singing, it was Christmas time, and I was singing Mariah Carey.
Amazing.
And I'm driving through the traffic jam, only at like 10 mile an hour, obviously. No, I was genuinely doing 10 miles
because
and I'm singing All I Want for Christmas Is You, and it's coming up on the screen. But my point is that screen, that's just like a megaphone.
Yeah.
Not a megaphone.
Yeah.
A mega.
But it's okay for you to be messing with a huge screen on your dashboard, but it's not okay for you to be picking up one that's in your hand that you can actually feel and hold and is like not huge. I hate that. And then you got to mess with to change the temperature settings in the cabin. You got to go through a menu, then you got to find a slider, then you got to click a little point. It's just ridiculous. I can't believe it's taken so long for the newspapers to start saying, maybe these touchscreens might actually be dangerous.
Sarah Davies, keep your Mark II Focus ST for as long as you can. Absolutely.
Yep. Mark Bray, why aren't touchscreens illegal?
Norfolk Mountain Man, I still run an MG Metro.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Mountain Man, does it still have the hexagonal logos on the sides? And is it green?
Someone says, what's with the CCTV in your lounge? Oh, there.
Oh, yeah. No, we're in a pub. We're not in a lounge.
Yeah. No, this isn't my house.
No, he's got that worried about going down a rabbit hole. He's got CCTV all over his house now.
Yeah, too right. KP says, what does Tesla do with all the information it collects on its drivers? They keep it
they feed it back to the Chinese.
But it also came out that the high-level employees had like a WhatsApp group where they were all looking at funny footage from all the various Teslas and they were sharing it all amongst themselves. And Elon Musk only found out about it when footage emerged from his own garage because you could see his McLaren in the footage. And then he worked out that was his house. And then he realised that all of his Tesla employees were sharing all the information that all these cars were recording. It was really interesting. But basically, all these modern cars, they're all recording you all the time. Anything after about, for me, anything with a push button and a screen, right, you can't delete the data. So there was a big lawsuit that happened in the USA where someone tried to take Ford and a number of other, I did a video about it, they tried to take Ford and a number of other manufacturers to court to say, what are you doing with all the data that your cars are recording? Why is it recording so much data and what are you doing with it? And it was basically thrown out of court because they couldn't prove that any harm had been done. So the judge didn't want to debate what data they were recording, why they were recording it, how long they were storing it for, who had access to it. None of that was up for debate. All he said was, you cannot prove categorically that it's caused any harm to anyone, so there's no case. But since 2014-15, all these cars have been recording everything and reporting it back to who even knows. It's really interesting. So for me now, I don't really want to own anything newer than about 2008, 9.
Well, anything that connects to Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Yeah.
There were two questions that I read, and I should answer. One, what do you think of LPG? LPG is great, but it's not going to happen because it's a fossil fuel. I had a Range Rover with LPG in it, and it pushed me miles per gallon up from 12 to 30.
Well, it's also a very clean fuel as well. It burns very clean, doesn't it?
But it's got the word gas in it, so it's not going to work.
It does. But the highest mileage car I've ever owned was a Volvo 850 T5, converted to LPG, and it was 632,000 miles. Yeah. And the story was on that car, if you go back through my videos, you'll find it was gold. Chris Stacey, who's also a YouTuber, may well be here in the comments. He's got that car now. And what it was an old bloke. He was a lecturer, and he loved the car, and he used to commute something ridiculous. He was doing a massive commute every day, and he just never wanted to change the car. And then eventually, he retired, and his family were like, right, we're buying you a brand new Volvo. And that's how it ended up with me.
Second question was, what do you think of Ford Edges? As long as you avoid the EcoBoost engine, you're fine. Avoid it. If you can avoid the EcoBoost engine, do so. That's like the plague.
The Edge is that very American-looking one, isn't it?
Well, it's like a little version of a Chevy Blazer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind those.
Well, no, they're all right, but you've got to avoid the EcoBoost engine.
Yeah.
Because they're being recalled. Well, but not recalled. Because if they get recalled, then Ford have to pay out. So they're not being recalled.
This is the one that's known in the trade as the Eco Boom.
It's got the wet belt in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets filled with sludge and then dies.
Why was that ever conceived as being a good idea? Why would you have your belt?
Because you get extra maintenance out of it and you have to replace it every now and again and blah, 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 and you get service fees and all that. That's the only reason I can think. It's the only reason I can think why everything doesn't have a timing chain.
Well, last time I was at a garage last summer and I actually videoed it, but I never used the video. The mechanic was fixing a Ford Focus that had the problem, and I couldn't believe how low the mileage was relative to what the problem with the car was because of the wet belt issue and all the little filters all gummed up. And the bill was going to be huge, like 1,500 quid. And my theory is that anything after about 2012, like let's say you're shopping for a second-hand car, which is what we're both really good at. That's effectively what we're experts in.
Yeah.
The problem you've got is you can buy from 2005 and your risk of something going wrong is, let's say you buy a car for 2005, right? Worst case scenario, something goes wrong, what's your bill? About 800 quid. Let's say a cam belt goes on a car from 2005.
I'll replace the dual mass flywheel and clutch in the Mrs.'s A4 Cabriolet.
Dual mass flywheel and clutch can be expensive. What was that, about 1,400 quid?
Well, the last time I did one, 2 years ago, the flywheel was 300 quid and the clutch was 150.
Yeah.
This time the clutch was 200 and the flywheel was 550. Ouch. Just for parts.
Yeah. This is the thing, the newer the car, and people who are looking to shop a new car and they're going to say, I'm going to buy the newest thing I can afford because it's going to be better. You're actually just buying yourself a bigger potential bill when it does go wrong. So for someone who's shopping for a car and they've got between 500 quid and 5 grand to spend, what do you actually advise? Do you advise them to go and buy the newest thing that they can, knowing full well that if the clutch and dual mass...
No.
It's difficult, isn't it?
No, weirdly, I got a guy right now, Daniel Villa. Dan, if you're watching, I'm discussing you right now. He wants an Audi A4, A6.
Yeah.
And he's got a budget, and I'm going to go as old as I can within that budget.
Yeah.
Because the new stuff is when they started adding things. Like Audi used something called a CVT gearbox.
Yeah.
Which I stupidly, and this is how I got into all this.
Yeah.
Because I bought one.
Yeah.
And it cost me $3.5 grand to put it right.
Wow, gearboxes are expensive.
Every single one of those gearboxes has gone wrong.
Yeah.
And Audi got away with a recall.
Did they?
And I thought, I need to educate myself.
Yeah.
So that's how I educated myself on what to buy and what not to buy.
Yeah.
So, for example, right now, in my auction watch list, all the Audi A4s, there's 4 that are the CVT Multitronic gearboxes.
Yeah.
Well, fuck them off. We ain't having any of that.
Yeah.
There's no point even touching it.
Yeah.
Because if it goes wrong, it's catastrophic. Basically, it eats itself from within.
Wow.
It boils the gearbox oil and then dissolves everything around it. So the dual mass flywheel, and you literally end up replacing the whole gearbox.
Yeah.
And it's about it was $3.5 grand when I did it 10 years ago. So it's going to be a lot more than that now. Yeah. But so you stick with the manual because the gearbox that they put in the manual was the same one they put in the A3s and the A4s, and it's a tried and tested gearbox that's gone on for years and years.
Yeah. So.
You've got to simplify things.
So you get to a stage where the best thing that we can advise if someone's saying, I'm looking to buy a car, is buy the simplest car that you can find. because it's going to make life easier for you.
Well, yeah, because in theory, if you bought that Mark 1 Capri,
Yeah.
when you lift the bonnet up, you're going to be faced with a distribution with some leads coming out of it, a couple of carburetors.
Yeah.
There's no electronics there. It's probably not even electronic ignition.
Yeah. No, they weren't. There wouldn't have been electronic ignition.
So if something goes wrong, you can fix it.
Yeah. So we were discussing earlier on about the car market. I've had a couple of conversations this morning about people who are saying that the car market is extremely slow. People saying the car market's very slow at the minute. I've got a car dealer friend who messaged me this morning saying he's got a couple of cars he hasn't been able to sell. A friend of mine messaged me saying he's been looking to buy a car and he noticed that a lot of cars have been on Facebook Marketplace for ages and are now being reduced. What do you people think in the comments? Are you buying? Are you selling? Have you got any opinion on where the car market is at the moment? Because generally, my mate Steve, who I trust on stuff like this, he reckons the car market started cooling in August and hasn't actually really recovered. And Volvo right now, my friend heard a radio advert, they're offering $9,000 off the XC90. That's a pretty sizable discount from new.
Yeah, which one?
I don't know. He wasn't specific.
Because my mate's got I can't say what he does because it would implicate him in it, but he's got the XC90 hybrid.
Yeah.
And what an absolute beast of a car.
I also have a friend that has one of those, and it's astonishing how fast it is for such a large car.
Because, I mean, saying that, right, we keep saying, it's a large car. But it's not. It's still lighter than a Tesla.
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. So your mate that's got the XC, is that a company car?
Yeah.
Right, so I've ranted about this before. So he's got that on a company car scheme because the government have said that it's better for the company to be paying for him to be in that car. My mate who's got the hybrid Volvo never plugs it in at home and he gets high 20s to the gallon out of it, whereas previously his company car would have done 60 miles to the gallon because it would have been diesel Skoda Superb. So the government thinks it's better for the environment for those people to be using twice the amount of fuel that they were before.
Yeah.
And that's it, isn't it? Yeah. That's it. You can't.
Yeah. Right. Next subject.
That is government policy. Use twice as much as you did before, and it's better for the environment.
But no, on the subject of
Ford losing $35,000 on every EV sold, and thank you, Andrew. And they can't sell them anyway. They cannot sell these Mustang.
Ford in America have given up. Don't.
XC90 hybrids. That the one that the battery. Hang on, missed that one. Dies. And they won't do anything, i.e. petrol engine won't start and the battery's around 14 grand. You're probably right, Alan. I haven't heard anything specifically about the XC. So a friend of mine got one probably a year ago. And when I did that comedy stand-up thing up in wherever it was, he gave me a lift. And it's a lovely, lovely car. It's got a crystal knob. And that's quite special in a car. The interior is beautiful and it's absolutely rapid. But in 10 years' time, everything on that car will have gone wrong and it'll be worth peanuts. And that's just where we're at, you know. Make, do and mend has long gone out the window. Tony's got a comment.
Jules. He's got a 20-year-old Mark 1 Skoda Octavia VRS. Tomorrow, I'm picking up a Skoda Octavia VRS.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm doing a road test on it.
What age? So, I don't
know if I could... No, I'm not sharing my screen. It's fine.
Yeah. Good friend of mine is currently shopping for an Octavia diesel, and we've been going backwards and forwards. He's got between 500 quid and £5,000 to spend, and I've been having this conversation with him. Does he buy a newer one and all the potential problems that it goes with, or does he buy an older, high mileage one? And
this is the one. This is the VRS 245 TSI, 2019.
Okay. Yeah. So,
tune into EV Carnage sometime after tomorrow for a full road test on the Skoda VRS, because I've been wanting to get my hands on one, and where I'm picking it up from, I know there's some decent roads.
Deborah says hybrids are the way to go if we have a choice, and I think that if we have a choice thing is the more important part of that there, because
it's the main reason we rant about this. Choices being taken away.
Exactly. Legislation is changing. And, you know, in a few years' time, we might be sitting there going, well, I've got the hybrid because I had no choice. It was like the lesser of the evils. But
I believe there's a wise man sat right next to you who called it the polished turd.
yeah, 100%.
Because that's what it is.
I think what's happening though, I went to my garage today that I normally use, right? And I dropped my Peugeot 206 GTI in for an MOT after my track day. Remember I did that track day? This is a month ago. So normally I drop a car in, a couple of days later they phone me and give me a list of reasons it's broken, right? I dropped the car in a month ago and I said, can you MOT that? A month goes by, they've not MOT'd it. I said to them today, why are you so busy? Not in like a, why haven't you done my car way? Because I wasn't bothered. But my theory is that this electric thing is happening and people are worried that if they go to a dealership, they're going to be forced into an electric car. So I think people are saying, do you know what, we'll just keep our car a bit longer, which means they're saying things like, do you know what, we will put that set of tyres on, we will do the brakes, we will have the cam belt done, which is making local garages a lot busier because people are starting to look after their cars a bit more. I might be wrong, it might just be...
No, I can tell you you're right, because the garage that I use is a month.
A month, yeah.
A month before you get in. You know, they look after me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jace.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'd be waiting a month.
Well,
I've got a Suzuki Swift Sport.
Yeah.
It's a beauty, 85,000 miles, brand new, head gasket going
love
on
that.
it.
You're right, Geoff. Thanks, Neil.
Completely rebuilt. It's going to be a beauty, in red. I love a Swift Sport, me.
I've never driven one.
Oh, lovely little thing. Like a
those.
roller skate on wheels. Really tight.
Yeah.
And I was meant to take it up there last week, and I forgot and went away.
Yeah.
And they rang me up and said, where is it? Oh, shit. Sorry, I can't get it to you now.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll book it in for the 26th of March. That was
26th of March?
That's the next available date.
Wow.
And my mate who runs the other garage down the bottom of the hill, he's more like 6 weeks.
And as well, like, as car people that use garages regularly because we're messing about with cars all the time, we're not used to these sort of lead times. This is all new. It's never been like that.
So I used to turn up and go, fix that, and the next day, I'll get it back.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, when's your next MOT? Can you have it to me? Bring it in, like, now.
Yeah, got space.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just not happening. But this is across the board as well. And when you read people's comments on Facebook, some places are even, like, longer lead times. So people can't get the cars in to get them fixed because more people are looking after the cars.
But there's another reason the small garages are so busy.
Go on.
Main dealers charging too much stupid labour charges.
Right, so main dealers charging too much. The other thing, and this is the theory as well,
£185 an hour.
that's wild. £185 an hour.
That's why I've done some comparisons.
Yeah.
And that's not even a prestige label.
That is
I
mental.
won't say who it is, but they're charging £185 an hour.
So another one, skill shortage, right? Young people, young men.
Well, you're going to get your hands dirty, are they?
Do you know what? They all just want to be social media managers. They all want to be influencers.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to do that?
Nobody wants to work hard anymore. So
At least we did work hard for a bit.
I was having this conversation with someone today, right? She's got teenage boys, right? And she was saying to me they both want to be YouTubers. And I know quite a few YouTubers now through being a YouTuber, but I haven't yet met anyone that actually sat down and went, do you know what? I want to be, and I'm going to be, an YouTuber. I don't know anyone. It's happened accidentally for everyone I know. It's happened organically, and it's something that they've tripped into. I don't know anyone that sat down and said, you know what? I'm going to be a YouTuber, and then made a success of it. I do
know one.
One.
Yeah. And he's my mate's son.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, he washed dishes for me when I owned a restaurant.
Yeah.
And he is B Plays, he's called.
Right.
He's got 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
He's doing very well for himself.
Yeah.
He was 20 and driving a BMW M5. Based on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And lovely, lovely bloke. And I don't think he set out to say, I am an YouTuber.
Yeah.
But he was a YouTuber before he was anything else.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
I think he...
Whereas many other people, like you said, like we've all been things before we were YouTubers.
So if you haven't checked him out, Brett Barnes, B Plays, he's called on YouTube. Lovely, lovely boy. His granddad's a vicar.
Comment there, hang on. Schools don't encourage kids to learn any trades. Schools are only there to provide somewhere for your kids to go while you go to work. It's as simple as that. They're not there to equip your children.
No, they are. They're there to prepare the next generation for doing what we did, or what we should have done.
Yeah.
But didn't do.
Get down that mine.
Yeah.
So, a few comments coming in here.
Says the ex-teacher.
Neil, you were a teacher, were you?
I've got a teaching degree.
You got a teaching degree?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, taught for a year.
A year?
Yeah, and then went, God, this place is full of politics and bitchiness. I'm out.
My brother and his soon-to-be wife are both teachers, and every time we sit down, usually it's the tail end of a family gathering when the whiskey's out, and they tell me about their jobs, and it just sounds painful. Really, really hard work.
Bloke lives across the road from me. Him and his missus are teachers, and he's desperate to get out of it.
Yeah.
And he's young. Oh, my mate has got out of it. He was head teacher. I say he's got out of it. He's gone back on supply now, and he's making an absolute fortune.
Yeah.
But he said, I cannot be dealing with the politics, the equality, and the you got to do this and you got to do that. I got another. My newly adopted sister. Her different story, long story. Anyway, she's head teacher in Wales, and she's got a 10-year-old who identifies as a cat, and she's had to put a litter tray in the classroom. That's the education we're dealing with here.
Do you know what, right? Okay, here's my thoughts on this. I identify
Are you going
as...
to talk about what sort of litter it is?
No, I'm not.
Cats in.
The thing is, right, if we've got to a stage where you can be what you want to be and you can identify what you want to identify as, and there's a kid that's going to identify as a cat, fair play, because you can be anything you want and you can cause as much trouble as you want, and if anyone can identify as anything, why not take it to the nth degree? Because why not?
I got to admit, and I like to think that when it came to school, I exploited every angle I possibly could in secondary school.
You never thought that
But
one,
I didn't do in primary school. Oh no, if I was in secondary school now, you'd think about it every day, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The minute that anything went wrong for you. Actually, I identify as a washing machine today.
Yeah.
And I demand to sit downstairs and have water poured over me and spin around every 30 seconds.
And if you don't plumb me in, right, then you're abusing my human rights.
I think if you plumb me in, you would be abusing me.
But that's where we've got to. Like my sister-in-law, I think that's a relation. She told me about this. This was going on in a school in Birmingham, and when she first told me about it, I thought, you can't be serious. Someone's got to have done that for a joke. But then the problem is, if they're going to take the I identify as a woman thing seriously at school age, then you also have to take the I identify as a cat, I identify as a sofa, I identify as a washing machine. You can't just have one, not all of the others. So it just gets ridiculous, doesn't it? My school was closed and demolished shortly after Tony Blair visited it. Speaks volumes. Tony Blair.
Hang on. I identify as Mr. Austin Powers. Yeah, baby. I can't argue with that.
I watched the Austin Powers films the other day, and they're still very funny.
Oh, Goldmember is one of the greatest things ever made.
Goldmember's very funny.
Yeah.
The other film that I was listening to, who was it? It was Robert Downey Jr. on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about the film Tropic Thunder.
Still haven't seen it.
Have you not?
No.
It's one of my absolute favourites.
I'm going to have to watch it, because I would imagine it's like a modern version of Airplane.
It's a bit of a cult thing as well. Like after you've watched it a couple of times, it is it's funny, and they were talking about the fact that you probably couldn't make that film today. Like, it wouldn't be allowed. You wouldn't get away with it, which is ludicrous. You know, you got Robert Downey Jr., who is blacked up essentially because he's working on a role for a film and not breaking character. It's a great film. What you got in the comments? Children can identify as cats, but poor people will be priced off the road.
Yeah, but that's a good thing, right? Because if poor people are priced off the road and children are identified as cats, less cats will get run over.
I like your maths there.
Aye.
Yeah. The other thing is...
It fits in well with that comment I've just seen that come up on your phone of Life of Brian. Because that's exactly where we are.
We are. We're in, we're just in a really...
Where's the fetus going to gestate? In a box?
I just sort of despair when I look at where we're at and the world around us. And I think that's probably partly why I haven't made any YouTube videos for about 3 weeks, because I don't know where to start.
Do you know what? I'm in exactly the same boat.
Yeah.
Because you just want to go, ah!
Yeah.
So at what point do you go, I'm sorry if I've alienated everybody, but I just got to get this off my chest.
Yeah.
But whereas this morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. No, it wasn't. It was yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Sunday morning. We had the house to ourselves.
Yeah.
So we woke up and then we had a shower. And then I was sat on the edge of the bed. And I started saying to myself, do you find it visible? And I did the whole Life of Brian Biggest Dickers sketch to myself.
Love it.
Which is ironic, considering I was naked.
Yeah,
Very
I
ironic.
was that.
Yeah. Digress there a bit.
You'd never make that movie now, though. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
No, they would.
You cannot get...
No, you could. No, you could. Oh, different rabbit hole, we're going down here. You could, because you can say what you like about Christianity. So you could.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So you could make Life of Brian now. In fact, you'd probably be encouraged to make Life of Brian.
Yeah.
The BBC, rather than banning it, would be embracing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
now, if
you
you
are
wanted
right.
to make the life of...
You can't even say it. You can't even say it.
No, I'm just worried about shutting down your YouTube channel, aren't I?
But isn't that terrible?
Yeah, but this is the world we live in.
I know. It's shocking. And it's like you say, it's encouraged as well, isn't it? Like, yeah, we can take the mick out of take the mick out of our own culture all you want, but you start saying anything about anybody else's, and you should. It's probably bad.
Hang on. That's straight out of Life of Brian too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We're basically now living in a Monty Python sketch.
We're basically the People's Front of Judea.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Are you the People's Front of the Judea?
No,
we're the Judea People's Front.
Thing is, right?
Yeah.
As a Goodman, I'm technically Jewish.
If all modern cars will break in the next 10 years, we better treasure the original ones. The problem is, I don't think we're 10 years. Where are we going to be in 10 years' time? I mean, geez.
And this is the issue. And I think Matey's hit the nail on the head here. If all modern cars are shit, which, the officially anything 10 years or less, they could shut down at the switch of a button because they're all Wi-Fi connected.
Yeah.
So you need something more than 10 years old.
Yeah.
But how many more scrappage schemes are they going to bring out? And how many more regulations are they going to bring in so that it's virtually impossible? I mean, look at the MOT changes that have happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
The engine management light. It's a classic one. The engine management light, if that's on, you fail your MOT.
Yeah.
Well, virtually every car's 20 years old has got its engine management light on. And we can all turn them off. They'll come back on again.
Yeah.
But if it's on for the MOT, you fail.
Yeah.
Why? Because most of the time, it's an old fault.
Yeah. And again,
but people don't know that.
But as well, you go back to the older cars and the engine management light is one independent light on the bottom of your dashboard, right? And you can either turn it off by, removing a bulb if you need to. But on the modern stuff that's all screen dependent, you ain't turning that off. You can't get in there and turn it off. This is what annoys me about my wife's got a 2016, so what's that? 8 years old. She's got a 1 Series. Oh, she bought it herself. There's a story here, right? There's a story. Okay, I'm going to tell this story because I need to explain why my wife's driving such a brand new car. Brand new. It's worth about $5,000. Anyway, we bought...
2016?
Here's what happened.
I'll give you 5 for it.
Sold. You can have it.
No, you're right.
It's a very nice car.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not a 123, is it?
No, it's a 116 diesel. It's good on fuel. So we basically, my wife traditionally and I have always had old cars. Funny story, right? When we got married, we tried to have the cheapest and fastest wedding that you could possibly have. We tried to do it within 2 weeks, but you can't. It's not possible. Anyway, we tried to have the cheapest wedding possible. So our wedding car was our BMW 320 diesel M Sport Estate. This is, again, a bit of a story, but the funny thing is, because I'm not very organised, on the day of our wedding and in our photos with the wedding car, the car doesn't actually have an MOT, which is fine. Anyway, so, and I've always been buying and selling cars, and I've always got some kind of car that she can jump in, and she was driving for work and was using whatever car it was, and she decided she was going to go get herself something more modern and more reliable, right? So she got herself some car finance, and she went and bought a Ford Focus 1.6 diesel, right? More than I'd normally spend on a car, but she chose it, nice spec, heated seats and everything. Brings it back home, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks go by, and she says, oh, my washer fluid's low. So I go out to do a washer fluid. I put the bonnet on and I go, babe, there's no coolant in this car. Has your warning light not come on? No warning light. Top the coolant up. A couple of days go by, same thing, no coolant in it, right? Take it to a Ford dealership. Oh, head gasket. I was like, what do you mean head gasket? There's no overheating, there's no symptoms, there's no nothing. And they just go, oh, right, because of this engine, the head gaskets go and there's not really much you can do. And the bill to repair it was huge. So anyway, long story short, he went back to the dealer, and she bought it from miles away as well, because that's the sort of thing my wife does. Found the spec that she wanted, went and got it, buys it from miles away. Dealer phones us, oh yeah, the car's fixed now. And I'm ranting, I'm being like, bollocks, is that car fixed? Oh, that was it as well. They gave us a Nissan Duke courtesy car while the Focus was being fixed. I went in the spare wheel well for the Duke when we were doing a road trip in it, and I found someone's weed stash in the back of the courtesy car.
Get in, jackpot.
I phoned them up and I was like, and they basically just pretended they knew nothing about it, which was quite funny. Anyway, they phoned me and said, the Focus is fixed, come and get it. We went and picked it up from Kent, and by the time we got to Oxford Services, no coolant in it.
Yeah.
But at that time, Corona had kicked in, all the prices had gone through the roof, and the dealer basically realised that they could have this car back for what we paid for it, fix it, and sell it for a lot more. So that's what they did. And after that, my wife said, I'm done with new cars, I'll just drive whatever you've got. And at that time, it was 2005 Mercedes-Benz S-Class diesel. She was driving around in the community in a black S-Class with black windows doing her job. So she ran that for, I don't know, maybe 6 months. And then eventually she was like, right, I want to get my own car because all your cars are crap, which they are. I'm quite happy to admit that. And she found this BMW 1 Series and went and bought this. So we've had that ever since. But I think now we're at the tail end of our 1 Series ownership, because it's got one of them buttons in the roof that you press and it connects you to like BMW emergency assist. So I went to turn on the interior light the other day, and then someone was like, hello, how can I help you? What's your emergency? And I'm like, what the hell is going on? It was just, yeah. So that's push button start. Anyway, this rant started because I was saying it doesn't have a fuel light, and it doesn't have any, like, you basically get a triangle come up on the dash, and you have to go through the menu on the iDrive system to try and work out what's gone wrong with your car. Whereas I like cars where if a bulb's gone, a bulb pops up. If there's something wrong with the engine, an engine light.
No, the iDrive system does do that. Yeah.
It doesn't present it in an obvious way, does it?
No, but I always think, like, and this is how I justify the iDrive system.
Yeah.
I feel like a safe cracker in a Hollywood movie.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's something about spinning that dial around
Yeah.
and then getting it in the right place.
Yeah.
And then click.
Yeah. Definitely.
When you get it right and you go to the right menu.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Just like it's like Ocean's 11.
Yeah. Yeah. But like windscreen washer fluid low, for example, right? In my old Volvos, it's a square light that comes on to tell you washer fluid's low.
Yeah.
In the wife's car, it's like, it gives you a clue. So I'm going to give you this little triangle, and you've got to work your way through the menu.
You get the orange triangle. I would
Yeah.
imagine you go through about 9 drop-down menus to get to
And
that.
then eventually you click vehicle status, and then finally it'll tell you what the problem is. I just find it absolutely mental. And it's push button start, and it's keyless, which means we're always leaving the key in it. I've said this before on my channel. If anyone wants a free BMW, if you just find out where we parked it, chances are the keys are on the passenger seat.
Do you know what? I was telling the boys I went darts last week, Premier League
yeah?
darts, and they said, you know, how'd you get on with these milk floats? I said, well, that's weird, because we were talking about keyless ignition.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I parked one outside my house. I picked it up and I took it home and I was dropping it the next day. And I thought, and I went inside, and the things, they don't make a noise.
No.
And I went back out half hour later and I thought, that's weird, the lights are on. I thought, I can't have that, it's a milk float. I need, you know, I need my battery. But it was all right because the engine was running.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I'd been in the house for half an hour, and we're not talking, you know, this far away.
Yeah.
I'd gone a fair distance.
Yeah.
With the keys in my pocket. Never turned off.
That never happened with the car with the key, is it? Someone knocking your door, like, excuse me, you know you left your car running. Like, well, no, I didn't realise. But that's what happened.
No, but you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know because it's not making a noise. It's just sat there. But somebody could have got in it. And I wonder, in theory, right, once you start driving and the key's not in it, you could probably drive that until you stop. And it would only be when you try to restart it, then it would say key not in range.
Well, that's the thing with all these keyless things. So long as you don't stop the car, you can get it as far away as you can. And that's the thing, when they nick them, they've only got to get to their lockup, and then when they're at the lockup, someone else comes and codes a new key to it or whatever.
Well, my mate in Wales has bought a box.
Yeah.
Like a RFD box.
Yeah.
Like a big leather. To be fair, I think it went a bit over the top. It's leather and it's padded.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's this beautiful box, and he's got a Range Rover, Discovery, Evoque, Duke.
So it's a large Faraday cage, basically.
Yeah.
So he's going to put his keys in
But
there.
he tried it.
Yeah.
And he put his keys in there because people are going around Wales cloning them.
Yeah, yeah.
And he put his keys in there, and he went outside and offered the box up to all the doors.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Then he lifted the lid on the box, and the doors opened.
That's crazy technology, that is.
Yeah. And he went, That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now all the keys go in the box at the end. I mean, technically, it's just like a big swingers type thing in his house now. Everyone comes in, just chucks their keys in the box, and he shuts the lid on it.
But it doesn't just seem like we've totally gone backwards, because all of that is for a technology that we never needed in the first place. Because there was nothing wrong with the key. Remote central locking. Okay, I like that. That's handy, right? Remote central locking on a bibber.
Yeah.
With a key.
But
Go on.
being someone who has a missus who is slightly smaller than me,
Yeah.
having the pre-programmed seat with the pre-programmed key.
Yeah.
So the Range Rover, I had key 1, she had key 2.
Yeah.
My seat was seat 1, her seat was seat 2. So when I blipped it, I didn't have to worry about opening the door, kneecapping myself, smacking my head. I knew that when I got in it, it would be ready for me. And the same that when she got in, it was like a toddler's high chair with a booster seat on it. And so for that reason, I cannot slag that bit off.
I've never really had it presented that way before. You are right.
And that's the reason I liked it.
Yeah.
Because when your missus is 5'2", and you get into a car, you end up headbutting the windscreen or the headlining every time.
Yeah.
And who wants to do that?
Yeah. Why are they laughing at us?
Because I said my missus was 5'2". She is 5'2".
Right, okay, got you. We've run out of booze and we're at an hour long. Shall we get another drink and then start again? You bothered? It's time. It's only 8:30, and my Egyptian watch is still working. This is my Egyptian Amiga.
Yeah.
You get.
Hey, how much?
You get. Oh, there's a story. We got so ripped off. I always buy watches when we're away. You told everyone I was in Egypt. I haven't told anyone, but now they know. Not that it matters.
You're back now?
Yeah, I'm back now.
Well, the burglars ain't going to go around now, are they?
Well, yeah. So I like a fake watch. I do, as anybody who watches my channel knows. And yeah, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but this was very expensive because we got majorly ripped. £25 no more.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say, Dominic. I'm with you, but I know he paid more than that for it.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you.
Weirdly, right? I got chased down the street, and this was something that when we do these things, we come up with things that we should talk about.
Yeah.
And one of the things we came up that we should have talked about, that we haven't talked about at all, was Morocco.
We were going to talk about Morocco.
And I was in Morocco trying to buy a Jaguar.
Oh, yeah.
A real one, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
And he wanted 85, the equivalent of 85 quid for it.
Yeah.
I said, man, no.
Yeah.
I'll give you 25. We're in Morocco. We should be bartering.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up with him and his overly large mate. And again, life of Brian.
Yeah.
He won't haggle. What do you mean he won't haggle? Yeah, but it's worth 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to give you 6 for it, but it's only worth 4.
Yeah.
But this was the case where this bloke comes out and his huge mate comes out and goes, 85. I went, all right, mate. Stick the watch up your arse.
Is that not the way the game works anymore?
I don't know. I walked off down the square,
Yeah.
and then I turned round and there was a posse chasing me. I'm like, what are you lot doing? You buy the watch. So I'm not going to buy the watch. Oh, you English, you come over here. Yeah, I want to buy a fake watch that's been made in a Chinese sweatshop.
Yeah.
I only want to pay 25 quid for it because you only paid £1 for it. You're still making 24 quid.
Yeah.
But you want 85 because you're greedy. At that point, I got dragged away.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, that's me. That's one of my Moroccan stories. It's not my food poisoning one, but
one of the challenges that we came up basically we came up with all these ideas for what we're going to do for the video, and then Tony was really late, and as a result we've just done a live broadcast instead. But we haven't exactly run out of things to talk about because we're at 68 minutes.
I like an Amiga too.
I'm just highly concerned that my glasses.
Yeah. In the answer to the question way long ago that I never answered, San Miguel versus Peroni, which one's wins?
I'm going to leave that to the comments. What do you think in the comments, San Miguel or Peroni? We're going to go down the bar and refresh ourselves. Unless you want to carry on talking and I'll go and get a beer, or I'll carry on talking and you go.
No, because I'd like to get some fresh air as well.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have a natural break, and then we may resume this at a later date.
A later date. All right. So we're done. We're done for the. We'll wind down. If we're done for the evening, we can wind down and say goodbye.
We've done an hour.
We've done it. It's pretty good going for an hour, isn't it?
That's a lot of material.
I'm like a radio host. I can go all night.
That's not a radio host. That's a prostitute.
Probably
Are they the same thing? Have you ever done radio?
No, I'd quite like to. I feel like I'd be all right at it.
It's on the CV.
Hey?
Did me a radio show.
You done a radio show?
18 months, yeah.
How many sort of listeners were you getting?
Well, I don't like to talk about it, Geoff.
Go on.
But the radio station itself was getting a bit... you can only... Because you can never judge who's listening on FM.
Yeah.
You can only get who's listening online.
Right.
And those figures are undisputable.
Yeah.
Because it's the amount of people that click through the website.
Yeah. But I imagine that's naturally lower than FM anyway. So there'd be more...
There's a little local radio station in St Austell Bay Radio.
Yeah.
And I had my own show on there Thursday mornings, 10 to 1.
Yeah.
And there were, on average, 50 to 500 people online listening to the radio every day of the week.
That's good.
Apart from Thursdays.
No
10 to 1.
No one listened on Thursdays?
50,000.
Really?
Yeah. I was international, man. I had people listening in Devon.
Amazing.
But yeah, again, I built this radio show up. It was brilliant. And it had a hell of a following.
Yeah.
And then I made the audacious move of saying, really, I need to earn some money out of this.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that.
Yeah.
Same with my newspaper column.
Yeah.
Oh, this is another story. I've got loads of these. I've had so many previous lives, it's unreal.
Go on then, we'll touch on this for a little bit. It's quite hard to make money out of stuff like that until you get quite high up, it seems. But in order to get quite high up, you've got to be really good at it.
But when the statistics clearly show that the one thing that's keeping this vehicle going is the person in front of you, and you're getting nothing, but the people at the top are creaming it off, then that's the point where you say, right, I want some of that.
Was it like voluntary then, the radio show? Or was it just...
Yeah, it was just a voluntary
Because
thing.
it's a bit of fun.
But then, like everything, Geoff, it takes over your life, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Because then it became... I literally spent the entire week writing down stuff as ideas for the show, because it's 3 hours, and you only play so many records, and you've got to have this stuff. So I started writing down material. And then Wednesday nights, I spent the entire night prepping for it. Yeah. And then Thursday, the entire day was taken up by it. So I had to take a day off work.
Yeah.
I literally didn't, because I used to finish the show and then go to the pub.
Yeah.
And so that was it. That was a day off work. So it was costing me money. And I went, look, I've generated that much in advertising revenue.
Yeah.
I think it's time. No, right. Cheers, Jim. Thanks very much. Come on. And that was it.
Well, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Did you not then want to, like, if you had that on your CV, would you not then, like, can you go further up the chain with radio?
No. Do you know why? Because I'm particularly in Cornwall. It's different now. You could do anything you want. As we're proving.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
And I can say what I like.
Yeah.
But for example, Pirate FM.
Yeah.
The MD's a very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he's quite happy to talk to me on a daily basis about anything I like, and he'll meet me anywhere I want, and we can have a pint and we can do whatever. But the minute you suggest I get on the airwaves, not a chance. A chance. It's too regulated.
Yeah.
I mean, I got reported to Ofcom whilst doing the voluntary show.
Really?
Yeah. It was brilliant. I used to I hope this don't get you shut down, but it's a brilliant story. I go, right, pay attention, everybody. This is one of my greatest anecdotes of all time.
Here we go.
So,
a Tony special.
What happened was, you used to have to read the news.
Yeah.
Well, occasionally they'd have a girl come in to read the news.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'll do it all myself.
Yeah.
And I'll do it in a different voice.
Yeah.
So I was Dudley from Dudley.
Yeah.
But Dudley from Dudley, because I'm Dudley from Dudley. You can't read the news, Dudley. Well, why can't I read the news? Because nobody can understand you down here because we're in Cornwall. Well, I want to read the news. Yeah. And I used to interview myself.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting him to do the weather.
Yeah.
Because that was all, sunny. So that was brilliant. So anyway, that's what I carried on reading the news.
Yeah.
So you get given the news stories of the day that they printed off bloody Spotlight or BBC or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just read them out. So I slipped a story in.
Yeah.
And the story was, there were good news for depressed lesbians today, as a trial of a new drug appears to have gone rather well. It would appear that early signs are that Try Dicks Again is a very popular drug. With that, the station manager nearly came through the glass.
Yeah.
Right, so anyway, the next week, there's your apology, read it out.
Yeah.
So I naturally started with, I'd like to apologise for the spoof news item I read out last week. Obviously, I didn't want to cause offence to anybody, and I don't want to upset certain members of the community, because the last thing I want is some shaven-headed woman in dungarees chasing me down the road. And at that point,
Yeah, that was that.
that was the second Ofcom complaint.
Amazing.
But the one that really got it, and we'll finish on this, because this brings it back full circle.
Yeah.
Can you remember there was a story about a Christian couple in Penzance who refused to let a gay couple stay in their B&B?
Yes, I remember
And they
this.
got prosecuted, not persecuted. They got prosecuted, and they got found guilty, and they got their livelihood taken away from them, and they got and everything else. And I said, would that have happened if they were of another religion?
Yeah.
Except I named that religion.
Can't name it.
I did name it.
Yeah.
And that was Ofcom complaint number 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was the end of your radio career.
No. I went on after that.
Did it?
I carried on. I used to have to read an apology out most weeks.
Brilliant.
So then in response, I'd get one of my mates to write an email saying, I listened to Tone on Thursday. Brilliant show. Best show on the radio, that is. That's absolutely brilliant. You keep him going. Don't you lose him. And then depending on the scale of the complaint, depending on how many people I got to email in.
Yeah, got you. So you've done all manner of different things then in your path to being...
Oh, I'll tell you what, the video of my jobs,
Yeah.
that's a week's worth.
Yeah.
I counted them up.
Yeah.
It's over 50.
What's the most obscure job you've ever done? The one that people would say, oh, didn't know you'd done that.
Joint smoker.
Joint smoker.
1994. Funnily enough, my wilderness years where I was a joint smoker.
Yeah.
My job was to smoke joints of bacon.
Nice.
I smelt like a frazzle 24 hours a day.
I bet, yeah.
But 1994, cast your mind back to 1994. How old were you?
8.
8.
Yeah, I was 8.
I'm working in a bacon factory in Cornwall.
Yeah.
And we're doing 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And we're getting overtime. And I'm taking home £400 to £500 a week.
Yeah.
In 1994. Honestly, I was like a millionaire. And do you know what happened?
Go on.
Thatcher.
Really?
I didn't pay me poll tax.
Yeah.
And that was the first proper job I'd had in years. And they caught up with me and they put an attachment of earnings on it and they were taking hundreds a week off me.
Really?
And all that money I should have had from making loads of money back then, I never ended up with any of it and it all went to the government.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why I'm so bitter and twisted today.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the last
teacher I suppose is quite obscure, isn't it?
I was a dinner lady.
Joint smoker.
Joint smoker. Yeah.
Boat builder. Secretary. Office manager.
What would you describe yourself as now?
I've dropped out of society.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Literally, and this is another story. 2019, I was working for Cornwall Chamber of Commerce. Drove a Range Rover. I wore a suit.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't see you in a Range Rover with a suit.
Oh yeah. I was proper. I had a range of waistcoats.
No way.
Yeah, and I used to buy my shirts from Blake Mill, £100 a shirt.
£100 a shirt?
Yeah, lovely. It's still going now though, very good quality. But I was the proper corporate animal. I was a capitalist.
Wow.
And then I moved into my mate's farm in Treesmill, which is like a hippie commune.
Yeah.
And somebody said, when you move in there, it's going to change you. And in 6 months' time, you'll be wearing sandals.
Yeah.
Well, I always wore flip-flops anyway, so
Yeah.
I thought that'll be all right. But literally, got to January 2020, I came back from the Scilly Isles.
Yeah.
Been over there for a conferencey thing. And went, bang, there's my resignation. That's it, I'm done. And then I started selling cars.
Problem is, once you start seeing, like if you're on the treadmill, I don't think you see it. But once someone opens your eyes to see that the world is different to what you perhaps perceive it to be, it's then very hard to go back, isn't it?
I think it was probably the amount of knives in my back that did me in.
Really?
Yeah. A lot.
Cornwall's small like that.
I'm ruthless.
Really?
So ruthless.
You see,
Yeah.
you wouldn't-
People that will sit there and look you in the eye and I'll say, did that happen? No. Did that happen? No. Did that happen? No. 4th time, did it happen? Yes. Why did you say no the first 3 times? We were hoping you'd go away. Yeah, and that was literally, that's it, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm not going to bother with it. I've tried my entire life to fit into society. Clearly, I don't fit in. Cheers, thanks very much, goodbye.
Yeah. I think many people who don't fit into society end up doing this, you know?
Yeah.
YouTube.
Or sitting on the other end commenting on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Right, I think
We're going to the bar.
that's us for tonight. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. You're driving a Skoda tomorrow.
Yeah, Octavia VRS.
Excellent.
Also, tomorrow there will be a how much does it cost to drive an electric van a long distance video. Because last week I drove a Vivaro E, 240 miles, and due to the way that EVs work, you don't get the actual cost of the journey until 48 hours later.
Yeah.
So I've now compiled all the evidence. That'll be there tomorrow, followed by the VRS, followed by me and you, and then followed by... What was the other one I was going to do? I don't know. Us playing Top Trumps. And let's not forget, should we bring back not $2,000? Comment.
I think basically on cheap cars, you and I need to do more together because A, we're pretty good at cheap cars because we bought all of them, and there's a gap to do something, isn't there?
Can have a not $2,000 supermarket.
Do you know what as well?
Yeah, like Kazoo, but for shit.
Just needs a name. Doesn't
shit.
It? I've got a
Shit Zoo.
I've got a Facebook group there and ready to be rebranded to be this. I've got a group called Look What I Found, Geoff, and it basically is that. So we'll just rebrand it. The other thing is, I really want to do with you a Top Gear challenge where we set a location and we set a budget and we meet Top Gear style in an car and do challenges. We've got to work out when we do that.
Yeah.
Because that's like bread and butter, isn't it? Cool. Right then. Thanks, everybody. We're going to go get another beer. I think we're going to film some more stuff off this, aren't we?
Yeah, might do. Well, I don't know. I need a pee, a fag, and a beer, and not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you all.
Do something to eat as well. I haven't had any tea yet.
That's what I said.
I mean, look at me. I'm wasting away here, look.
Exactly. Shocking.
See?
Right.
It's like me next to the beast from The Chase.
Who's the beast? I don't know what. I don't get
The beast from The Chase. He's a 20. Well, one I had my photo taken with him. He was 29 stone. So I look like you next to me.
Right.
I always sit next to a fat bloke and make yourself look thin.
Wow.
This is what you're doing.
You've
nailed it, to be fair.
Dude, I'm the heaviest I've ever been right now.
Yeah, and still. Yeah, and still.
We're a check shirt, it hides it, but don't tell anyone, but I can't quite do the buttons.
I can't do that, it's not branded.
Right, goodbye, take care everyone, says Graham. Thank you very much, Graham. Cheers lads, it was brilliant. Oh, I'm glad people think it was brilliant. That's expensive to look like that. I think that's a comment about the £100 shirt.
Oh no, I'm not wearing one today. Jackson Pollock.
£1,500 cash today, mate. Have I still got that group? I probably haven't. I've also got a Facebook group called because it was on the back of not £2,000.
Yeah.
It was when they just shut down. So I decided instead of not £2,000, it'd be like £1,500 cash today.
Yeah.
So I've got some groups that basically we between us can push and use. But the problem was I was finding it really useful because I'd just buy all the cars that people kept posting in there if they were any good.
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it?
I don't
we
need
can't
any.
do that. We just need to be the conduit between the car and the believer.
Yeah, exactly. And we can keep second-hand cars going ever. Cool. Jenny Ryan is not just a pretty face. I don't know who Jenny Ryan is. It's quite funny just catching up with some of these comments. And there's a lot of comments that we probably missed. People want more. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes and people just can't get
I've got to admit, my bladder's not that strong.
Yeah, right.
Oh, do a challenge, Life of Brian. Oh, I tell you what, that's got mileage.
Go on then,
we could go to an aqueduct.
Yes.
Could be a stoning.
Yeah.
And at the end of us, one of us gets crucified. The loser gets crucified.
I like this. This will work. Yeah, it plays to my my Christian nature.
Crucified on a windmill.
We'll go to a Roman fort. Right.
Geoff, let me down.
Meet back here in 15 minutes. I don't know if we're going to be going live again. Tony needs to eat and have a wee. Yeah, always look on the bright side of life. I think we'll finish on that.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much, everybody. He's not the Messiah. It's just the naughty boy. Amber Theatre in Carleon. Is that in Cornwall or in Wales?
No, it's Wales. That's just outside Cardiff. And there's also a restaurant there that does exotic meats.
Oh, what kind of exotic meats?
Like antelope, crocodile.
Do you know what I had for dinner last night?
What?
Kangaroo.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was going to have a big barbecue on Saturday. I'd invited a load of people and the weather was shite, but I'd already ordered all the meat. I had kangaroo and jalapeno burgers.
Yeah.
And zebra steaks.
See, zebra, chewy beef.
Yeah.
Kangaroo, tender chicken.
Tell you what, the kangaroo and jalapeno burgers were phenomenal. I'll order them again. Very good.
I had beef short rib.
Oh, did you? Yeah. We should do a food channel as well, because we both quite like our food, don't we? We could get into that. Do a bit of McMaster with reviewing some food. Maybe that could be part of our Top Gear challenge.
But Top Gear challenge meets Mortimer and Whitehouse go fishing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. I also want to host an event later in the summer. I want to do a barbecue. Should we do a big barbecue? Invite everyone along.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Right, we're going for another beer now. Thank you very much, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.